Hey guys, welcome back to the St Pölten series. This episode will be the last instalment of the second season. Where I'd left off, we'd gone through a bit of a sticky patch and we're sliding gradually towards 10th place and relegation. Let's see if we manage to arrest that slide and secure our survival for next season. I can confirm we will be a Bundesliga club next season. A good 8th place finish, 16 points ahead of Vienna Neustadt, who, unsurprisingly, with a minus 40 goal difference, ended up going down. Further up the league, RB Salzburg were the champions, as you would expect. I believe they spent double in wages than even the team who spent the second most amount in wages. So that's usually a good indicator of where you should expect to finish. We almost managed to catch SV Ried, who'd gone on a run of 13 games without winning at the end of the season. Just didn't quite manage it in the end, but it showed the progress that we've made in the last quarter of the season. I'm just going to show you the first division as well, so who's going to come up to replace Vienna Neustadt. There it is, it will be SV Mattersburg after what must have been an incredibly tense final day of the season. I think it's good for us. We'll be able to play our old nemesis 4 times in one season. They'll be able to get their revenge for us stealing their promotion party on the very last day. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. Without further ado then, let's see how the fixtures went down in this last part of the season and where it was we managed to secure our survival in the Bundesliga for next season. We started this round of fixtures off with a 1-1 draw against Wolfsberger AC, who were a bit of a bogey team earlier in the season and who were still overachieving, still a small chance of Europe going into this game. So, to get a 1-1 draw, I thought was a fairly good achievement. They did, however, manage to take the lead with 25 minutes or so gone. Liendl causing havoc down the wing, really, putting in a good cross, and Albiach puts in a good convincing finish to make it 1-0. Very well worked. Sort of the Hofbauer-Ibrahimovic sort of chemistry going on there. But we did manage to get something out of the game thanks to this absolute pearl of a free kick from Marcel Holzmann just before half-time. We then went to Salzburg, to the newly crowned champions of the Bundesliga. And it was always going to be a tough game. They were really chasing their championship at this point. But after 16 minutes, we managed to take a shock 1-0 lead. We're doing our usual stuff really, playing some triangles in the middle of the park. Shibany holding the ball up nicely, playing it to Jano. Shibany delivers an absolutely great through ball to Hofbauer, who finishes emphatically to make it 1-0. They did, however, manage to equalise not long after that, after 35 minutes. Berisha playing it to Svento. Back to Svento again. He can only play it back to the fullback Leitgeb. Allen flicking it on to Berisha, who scores a wonderful goal from 20 yards. Just after the half-time break, they make it 2-1. Kevin Campbell, who's just an absolute beast on this game, puts in a ball for Aydin in the 6-yard box. Poor marking, the cross wasn't dealt with, but it was 2-1 then to Salzburg. A few minutes later, they made the lead somewhat unassailable. Allen with a good flick on to Berisha, who buries it to score his second. They made the scoreline somewhat embarrassing after 70 minutes. The cross initially was dealt with, but Berisha's just holding up the ball, switching the play from the middle of the park. The cross has to come in eventually, and when it does, it's not really well dealt with. Nobody's picking up Berisha. The marking from that cross should have been a lot better, but it wasn't, and Berisha secured his hat-trick. We did manage to get a consolation through this amazing free kick from Ceppolini. Obviously he didn't mean it, but he'll like to claim that he did. We then went to Austria Vienna, who by this point had hit a very rich vein of form after sacking their old manager, so it was always going to be tough. But we didn't want to concede so early after such a calamitous goalkeeping error. 1-0 after 4 minutes. thanks to an absolute disaster from Progelhoff, who I'd drafted in because Riegler was injured, Riegler obviously being our first choice keeper. I'd criticised him in the past for making a lot of calamitous goalkeeping errors, but it seems no matter what I do, the goalkeepers in my squad just have errors riddled into their DNA. Keenast there making it 2 after half an hour with a wonderful finish. While it didn't absolutely cement our survival in this division, I think it was this result that was the most pivotal in doing so. We hosted our local and relegation rivals, Wacker Modling, 8th against 9th, and 8th managed to take a 1-0 lead. Good ball into the box from Rambichel, and Ibrahimovic put it away. The St Pölten fans there chanting Ibrahimovic's name. He's Zlatan's brother. We controlled the first half very well and managed to secure a second goal not long after about 35 minutes. Good crossfield ball to Ambichel, but he overruns it, loses the ball. Semtossen heads it out. Cepelini laying it off to Yano. Good triangles again, out wide this time. Ambichel putting on a good ball to Felix, who finds Cepelini. The deflection sort of luckily rebounds at the feet of Hofbauer, but it was, in the end, quite a well-worked goal. Wacker Modling did go all out in the last 5 minutes to try and set up a grandstand finish, and when this cross was very poorly dealt with in the box, they managed to do just that, and they did create 1 or 2 chances after that. So it was a very nervous end to what should have been a very well-controlled game. We went into this game against Sturm Graz, last season's champions, with the knowledge that we only needed 1 more point to survive. But we also knew it was always going to be tough, because they were still in with a shout of the title at this point. But we didn't want to concede like this. After about 3 minutes, our attack sort of breaks down. I think, Cepelini just loses the ball. It's played out wide to Holzel, who has a lot of space to just menace down the right hand side. The keeper doesn't deal with the cross, and that's the easiest finish in the world for Ryder to make it 1-0. Not much did happen after that, but they did manage to get a penalty with 5 minutes left to go to secure the win. It had all the excitement of a dull 0-0 game. It's just Sturm Graz had 2 absolutely golden chances to score, and they took them both. Still needing just a point for survival, we went back to Vienna to try and make it happen. And after just 1 minute, we had a dream start. Hofbauer causing havoc down the left wing as usual, finding Cepelini, who unleashes an unstoppable finish into the top corner. 1-0. And within 25 minutes, we managed to make it 2. It was René Felix with a good ball over the top for Shibani to chase, and he unleashes an unstoppable finish again to make it 2-0. I believe that was goal of the month for that month. On the 70-minute mark, Rapid Vienna did manage to make it a nervous finish. They did sort of come onto the attack at this point, but again another goalkeeping error led to their goal. Riegler just spilling the cross and allowing Alar to finish easily. But while it looked for all the world like they were going to equalise yet again on their turf, we managed to score a wonderful counter-attacking goal. Shibani doing his job holding up the ball, but the pass was cut out to Hofbauer. Hofbauer gets the ball back, finds Shibani, who holds up the ball. That through ball should have been cut out. The keeper should have been better positioned, but Kirschbaum is there to take full advantage, to secure the win, and to secure our survival. We managed to do it in style, which was so satisfying. With our survival secure, you may be forgiven for thinking this was a bit of a dead rubber. However, my only goal after securing survival was to finish as high up in the table as possible, which was, after SV Ried's horrible slide, 7th place. But that wasn't the best way to start our quest for 7th. We concede straight from kick-off after 32 seconds. Great finish from Merg, but poor concentration at the back. They made it 2 just before the half-hour mark. Merg holding up the ball and delivering a delicious ball to Keenast with an equally delicious finish. taking advantage of the fact that the keeper was so far off his line. We gave ourselves a lifeline just before the half-time break. It came from us breaking down their attack very well. Holzman with the header out initially, but Felix with the key interception. He finds Cepelini, who skillfully evades the tackle. He starts to run at the defence. Ibrahimovic laying it off to Felix. Jano sensibly playing it back to where there are no defenders. Peinsip launching it up to Brandl, who finds Hofbauer on the wing. He delivers a cross, and you guessed it, Edin Ibrahimovic finishes the move. And the goal to equalise came at the death. Brandl setting up one of the best counter-attacking goals we've even ever scored. Ibrahimovic getting slightly lucky with the bounce, but we managed to play some nice triangles, even this late on in the match. And we work the ball over to, he needs no introduction, Edin Ibrahimovic, to cause absolute pandemonium in the stands at the Niederösterreich Arena. Our next game in the quest for 7th was a home game, against already relegated and very demoralised Vienna Neustadt, and we took the lead within 10 minutes through Dominik Hofbauer after he capitalised on a goalkeeping error. Just before half-time, we managed to extend the lead and assert our control on the game through an absolute peach of a goal from Pablo Cepelini. The last game was your typical last on match of the day type of 0-0. Very dull, nothing much to report. I thought a point would have been enough to secure 7th, but SV Ried managed to end their season with an impressive point against Sturm Graz, who was still in with a shout of the title. With the season over then, I'm going to look at our star performers over the season. First of all, the best performer has to be Edin Ibrahimovic. He scored 13 goals this season, compared to 8 from Hofbauer and 5 from Shibany. He has been our main source of goals, finishing off our wonderfully crafted moves from both the middle and the wing. Other honourable mentions have to go to Pablo Cepelini, who, although he's only came in January, has been a vital creator of goals. 6.91 average rating over his 11 appearances. It doesn't lie. He's done well. Had a few poor performances, but you can cut him some slack considering he has to get used to the Austrian league and the Austrian way of doing things. Another star performer who's been there since the start of the save has been Jano, the Spanish technician in midfield, the Xavi of the Austrian league. His younger Austrian equivalent, Konstantin Kirschbaumer, who's also been here since the start of the save, has performed very well and has got the potential to do even better. I've been very happy with him. He's been crucial in the midfield area. Who else but Dominik Hofbauer on the left wing, causing havoc, getting a few goals himself after capitalising on opposition mistakes. He's got such a knack for being in the right place at the right time. At the back, we have Gerald Peinsip, who, although he's naturally a left winger, I find Marcel Holzman offers more in that position. Peinsip's done very well considering he's not playing in his natural position. 6.81 average rating. He's done very well at the back for us this season. Just going to give you a glimpse into the future at this club. I've tried to build up my under-18s team very recently. Had a couple of very good youth intakes as well, and this is the result. We've got some potential stars coming through here. First off, Lukas Stankovic. He's an attacking midfielder, a central one. Already 12 dribbling and 11 technique for a 16-year-old. That's very good. 11 flair. 20 determination, which means he's almost certain, as long as we handle his development correctly, to develop into a wonderful player. This guy came in at the end of the last season when we just got promoted in our youth intake. He's a central defender, already with 12 marking, tackling and heading. What more can you ask at the age of 16? He's almost ready to break into the first team, in my opinion, although you don't want to play him in when they're too young. George Huber, decent young goalkeeper. I think he can either be the future of this club in the net after Riegler stops improving, or he can be sold on for quite a large profit. Either way, his future at this club looks bright. Henrik Adler is the next one. He plays as a winger. Not the best core stats at the moment for that position, but we still have time to train him, and he's got 4-star potential, so hopefully we can develop into a very good winger. I managed to sign this guy from a regional division side in Austria. At the age of 16, he already has 12 passing, technique, dribbling, and first touch. As an AMC, I think he's going to do an absolutely fantastic job in the future, and we're just going to look to try and improve him as much as we can in the near future. I signed the Chinese Wanyama from Le Mans in France. Yeah, plays as a ball-winning midfielder. At the age of 16, he already has 10 tackling. 8 marking, could improve that, to be honest, and only 7 positioning. So he's not the best in terms of current ability, but I'm confident that we can improve this guy, and he can hopefully become a key component of our team in the future. Also, didn't manage to sign that regen from Hartberg. Like I said, I might have been able to do. He just committed his future to the club after we didn't really offer him a good enough contract, which was unfortunate, but I think we have enough up-and-coming AMCs now. We need to focus on other areas of the pitch to build our future squad. Anyway guys, that'll be it for this episode and for this season. When I come back, we would have played a quarter of the Bundesliga season. We'll see where we're at. I want to try and aim for top half, because I think this squad's grown together very well. I think we're a very decent Bundesliga squad now. So I think it's doable. Anything above relegation would be nice though. We want to avoid second season syndrome. And we've got to wait for these young players. We've got to give them time to develop. So I'm not going to be pulling up any trees next season by any means, but I think we can make some progress. Anyway guys, that'll be it for now. I'll see you all later. Take care.